Hi guys! In this video, I'm going to show you how to graph linear equations. Before we start, please subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click the bell button to turn on notifications, because more incredible content is on the way. Okay, let's get started. Today, we are going to learn two methods to graph linear equations. One is to do it with 2 points, and the other with 1 point and the slope. Okay, let's get into the first method. As we know, there is a unique straight line passing through any two given points. In other words, we can draw a line if you know the coordinates of 2 points. But how do we find these 2 points? Let's look at an example. Y equals x plus 1. Of course, we can randomly choose any two values of x, such as x equals 1 and x equals 2, and plug them into the equation to find two values of y. But usually, we take the two intersections of the straight line and the coordinate axes, because the y-coordinates of any 2 points on the x-axis are equal to 0, and the x-coordinates of any points on the y-axis are equal to 0, which makes our calculation simple. Let's try it together. Plug x equals 0 into the equation, and we get y equals 0 plus 1, y equals 1. The coordinates of this point are 0, 1. This point is on the y-axis here. Then plug y equals 0 into the equation, and we get 0 equals x plus 1. X equals -1. The coordinates of this point are -1, 0. The point is on the x-axis here. Okay, next step, draw a straight line passing through these 2 points. That's it. It's quite straightforward, isn't it? Let's look at another equation to practice. 2y equals -x minus 1. First, plug x equals 0 into the equation and get 2y equals -1. Divide both sides by 2 and get y equals -1 over 2. The coordinates of this point are 0, -1/2 on the y-axis here. Then plug y equals 0 into the equation and get 0 equals -x minus 1. Move -x to the left and get x equals -1. The coordinates of this point are -1, 0 on the x-axis here. Then connect these 2 points to get the line. Please notice that we do not need the third point because 2 points uniquely determine a line. Unless you want to double check your result, you can draw the third point to see whether it's on your line. Okay, let me ask you a question. If a line is parallel to the x-axis or y-axis, how do we graph it? In this case, it's easier because there's only one variable in the equation, and the line only has one intersection with the coordinate axes. For example, x equals 5. This linear equation does not have y in it. That means x is always equal to 5 no matter what the value of y is. We just draw a line passing the point of x equals 5 on the x-axis and make it parallel to the y-axis. It's done. Another example, y equals 3. This equation does not have x. That means y is always equal to 3 no matter what the value of x is. We draw a line passing the point of y equals 3 on the y-axis and make it parallel to the x-axis. Okay, that's all about the first method. Let's talk about the second method, how to graph a line given a point and the slope. The slope-intercept form of a linear equation is y equals mx plus b. In this form, the coefficient of y is 1, and b is the y-intercept. When b is greater than 0, the intersection of the line and the y-axis is above the origin. When b is less than 0, the intersection is below the origin. M is a coefficient of x. It's the slope of the line. What is the slope? Let's look at this line. Given one point, P, on the line, we can draw a horizontal line passing P, and then draw a vertical line to form a right triangle. This right triangle can be any size. Slope M is the ratio between the length of point P's opposite side and the length of the point P's adjacent side. It sounds a little complicated, but don't worry, you can get it by one example. Okay, let's graph this linear equation. Y equals 2x plus 1. The y-intercept is 1 and the slope is 2. As we just mentioned, we need a point and the slope to graph the line. We would like to choose the intersection of the line and the y-axis as our point. We already know the intercept of the line is 1, so the coordinates of this point are 0, 1. We call it P1. The slope of the line is 2, which means the ratio between the P1's opposite side and the adjacent side is 2 over 1. The denominator is 1, so we move from P1 to the right by 1 unit. The numerator is 2, so then we move up by 2 units to get this point, P2. Then connect P1 and P2 with one line. That is what we want. What if the slope is not positive but negative? For example, the slope is -2, not +2. What should we do? The first step is the same. Move from P1 to the right by 1 unit. And then the second step is a little different. Because the ratio is a negative number, we move down instead of up by 2 to get P2, and then connect the 2 points. That's it. Remember, the first step is always to the right, no matter the sign of the slope. Okay, let's take a look at the last example and practice one more time. 3y equals -5x plus 6. The coefficient of y is not 1, so we need to convert it to slope-intercept form. Divide both sides by 3 and get y equals -5 over 3x plus 2. Now we know that the intercept is 2, so we find our point 0, 2. And the slope is -5 over 3. The denominator is 3, so we move from this point to the right by 3 units. The numerator is -5, a negative number, so then move down by 5 units to get the other point. Then connect them with a line, and it's done. Okay, today we learned 2 ways to graph a linear equation. Which one do you prefer? Tell us in the comments below. That's all for today. If you have any questions, please email us at question@beat-math.com. We will try to answer your question in the next video. See you next time!